folks, this is Janaki, and over here in the corner we have Madame Bathsheba, and together we are Catomancy Tarot. And today I wanted to hop on to show you guys a deck that I'm really excited about. It's one of the ones that I had my eye on this summer, and then when I came back from India, it was waiting for me, so it was an exciting little something to come home to. This is a deck that it's called the Adapt Tarot, and it's a deck that I found on Etsy, and I reached out to the creator and she offered to give me a discount on the deck in return for a review, so keep that in mind. But these are all my true thoughts, and I've had this deck for about a week or so, and I'm really excited to show you guys what it's all about. So without further ado, I'll go ahead and flip this around and I'll show you what this deck is all about. So this is a collage deck by Delilah Miske. So you can order the deck, and then you can also order the guidebook separately. Both of them, there's a blurb on the back, which is also included in the book. But it sounds like Delilah made this deck between 2020 and 2021. So she says she spent her time rummaging through thrift stores, bins, and other forgotten or abandoned places to find these images that have come together to make this collection. So it is Rider-Waite-Smith based, but she's also allowed for quite a lot of sort of wiggle room within that. At the end here, she has something that I quite like, which is Adapt holds on to some of the historical symbolism associated with tarot, but is meant to hold space for anyone that wishes to investigate the mysteries of their inner world. The origin of tarot is unknown, which is what makes it so magical and inclusive. There are many origin stories, but no concrete answer. Ambivalence is what keeps our minds questioning, which can lead us to many interesting places. You are the interpreter of your own synchronicities. Use this deck to tap into your intuition and follow the symbols that have meaning to you. So I think that's quite fun, and I've been thinking a lot about adaptogens recently. I've weirdly gotten really into like adaptogenic mushroom blends that I've been throwing in my tea every day. Not that this is like a weird tangent supplement commercial. I don't mean that. I just mean to say that like I've been thinking a lot about you know, inviting things into my life that help me cope with, you know, stress and anxiety, and adaptogens are plants and fungi that help us do that. And so I also like the idea that perhaps tarot is also an adaptogen, so thinking of it that way is something that I thought was really quite fun. So we'll set the guidebook aside for right now, and then I also got in the mail a cute little note. Thank you, Catomancy. I hope this deck brings you magic and insight, and it has! Thank you! This is going on my fridge, where one wall of my fridge is completely plastered with all of these cards. And then here is her website and her email. You can find this deck on Etsy, and I'll leave a link in the description below. So let's go ahead and crack it open. It comes in this like nice recycled paper tuck box that I quite like. So this is, as I mentioned, a collage deck, and these are the backs. I think they're quite busy, but they're quite fun, and these are a lot of the themes that you'll see throughout the deck. There's a lot of nature. We've got our little mushroom friend here, which I like. And so the backs of the deck also bleed onto the front of the card. So you have all of the cards have this little bit of the colorful back folded over onto the front, which I think might be a nod to in older historical style decks, that was one technique of card making, is they would fold the blacks over the front. I don't know if that's a nod to that, but I think it's fun. Maybe some folks might think it's overwhelming, but I really like it. So we'll go ahead and do a little bit of a flip through. So we have our Fool. This is an interesting Fool because you don't often see kind of like military figures on the Fool, but if you think about it, this was one image that I found like a little bit challenging, but there is that like young naivete of like the soldier, you know, young soldiers signing up to or being recruited, and that's, you know, that is kind of a Fool moment, and that innocence is something that will quickly, perhaps very quickly, be spoiled. But that's our Fool. The Magician. I do like that there's, it's an embryonic magician. We usually see, you know, I'm used to seeing images of fertility associated with the Empress only, so it's actually kind of a fun change of pace to see it pictured with the Magician. The High Priestess. The Empress. So throughout this deck you will see a lot of sort of Egyptian imagery, which is sort of a nod to one of the origin stories of tarot. I love this Emperor. It's very, very imperial. I love the sort of exaggerated seat of power and the perspective of looking out over the sort of gathering imperial forces. And we've got the Hierophant. I really quite like this Lover's card. It's very sweet. We have our pair, a little queer nature moment, and then we've also got our little finches. Cute. Chariot. We have playful bears on the Strength card. I really like this Hermit. And you'll notice that this deck does have a lot of, it has an interesting use of white space. And I quite like it. There's something about it that is really appealing to me. Oh, look, we've got a guest. The Hanged Person. So this deck does make use of more inclusive language and more diverse representation, which is also always nice to see. We have Death. Temperance. I like how feminine this devil is. We've also got a good poppy. Love a good poppy. The Tower. The Star. So we have a little Diana the Huntress moment. I gotta move the cattail. I love this Moon card. The Sun. Yeah, so there's something about the white spaces in this deck that kind of remind me of, you guys remember in the 90s, if you were a kid in the 90s and you watched like nature shows, do you remember the eyewitness shows that had like all of the white space and then like the dolphin leaping into the room and the parrot and like the T-Rex skeleton? Like, that was my jam. So it kind of reminds me of that. So for me, it has this kind of like nostalgic natural history vibe. So now we're moving on into the minors with the Ace of Wands. So you'll see a lot more open space throughout the minors. Like this is kind of an example of, you know, you've got falconry. I like this for the Three of Wands. I think it's fun. Yeah, but that's kind of it has this like very fun natural history, playful quality that I like. I think this is a beautiful meadow. Like, this is a card that I really want to imagine myself in. I've got to move. Excuse me, cat. Excuse me. She always wants to be included. Got our Five of Wands. 6. 7. So this is a card that gives me a lot of, to me it seems very much about, you know, all of these spirals and patterns, and so it gives you a lot of, you know, you can read these as Rider-Waite-Smith, but you can also kind of, to me they're just kind of very evocative, and I find that I am developing a lot of my own kind of keyword associations with them. 9, 10, page. Got a very deserty Knight of Wands. So this Queen of Wands is great. I kind of love it. You hardly ever see sort of masculine figures on queens. It's kind of very common for, like, you see a lot of female knights and kings and pages, but you don't often see a more masculine Queen of Wands, and I just love the way it's they're depicted here with the sort of all of the feline energy. This is a little bit of a Queen of Wands thirst trap. Yeah, and with the drinking cat. I don't know if that's intentional. Anyways, it's great. Our King of Wands. Moving on to the Cups. This is the Ace of Cups. 2 of Cups. The 3. 4. 5 of Cups. This is a fun one. It makes me think of, you know, how crocodiles and alligators are kind of the perfect predator. They've been around for millions of years, and the reason they're so successful is, like, all of us land mammals have to drink water, and there's this moment of vulnerability when you're going down to the banks of water where, you know, 5 of Cups, I feel like, is about that sort of emotional vulnerability, and so this kind of evokes that for me in a way that I wouldn't normally think of. We've got our 6, 7, the 8. I like this lone figure walking in this big canyon here. The 9, and then 10 with all of our hummingbird friends. The Page of Cups is oftentimes my significator, and I love this one. I love the caverns. I love the, like, jumping in for a splash. I like the fish as vessel and, like, looking glass. Very fun. Knight of Cups. Queen. Here we have our King of Cups. I like this very nautical King of Cups. I feel like now that I see it, seeing like a sort of Poseidon or Odysseus kind of figure is like a very obvious a choice, but like I feel like you don't see nautical themed kings that often. I don't know. It's a fun one. Ace of Swords. 2 of Swords. We've got our 3. This is fun. You still have the heart that's sort of pierced which is, you know, you can't hardly find a card, the Three of Swords, that doesn't have that depiction. But having the lightning strike, having these, instead of them being swords in your heart, having like 3 lightning rods in your heart is like a really fun, I don't know, it shakes this card up for me. So thinking about, like, you know, that sort of voltage is fun for me. We've got our Four of Swords, which is a little bit of a, maybe, historical death scene, which is perhaps, it is peaceful, but you know, I guess this is usually, I don't know, I like it. It's nice. We've got our little twister with our Five of Swords. 6 with lots of butterflies. Our 7. 8 of Swords with our tarantula, and this looks like the Nazca lines. 9 of Swords. So you've got like a hunting scene and then some baying wolves. Our 10 of Swords. And then our Page of Swords. This is one of my favorites in the deck. I like the play on textures in this card. And like, I like how his sort of fluffy hair bleeds into the fluffy sort of volcano, bleeds into the fluffy mane of the unicorn. It just really depicts the kind of the lightness and the fantasy of the thoughts of the page that is very playful. I like this one a lot. Got our Knight of Swords, Queen of Swords. This card I just think is beautifully composed. The King. And now we're on to the Pentacles. With our Ace, the 2, 3, 4, 5, the 6, where you have the giant scale, and this is kind of like industrial farming of some kind, which I kind of like. It's this larger scale exchange than the sort of interpersonal one. 7 of Pentacles. Our 8. The 9. See, I'm really enjoying this deck for fall, and like this is a great example of this kind of, this is my vibe. This is what I want my vibe to be in the next, you know, in the start of the fall months. 10 of Pentacles. We've got our Page. Our Knight. Our Queen. And our King. So that's the flip through. I'm going to go ahead and shuffle for you guys so you can see how it shuffles. And then also I'll do a quick little 3-card reading, so you can stick around for that in case you just want to see, oh, look at that nice shuffle. So I will say that the cardstock is wonderful. It's like it's a matte gloss, so it is glossy, but it's not too overpowering. But the cards are very they have a very excited shuffle. So there's a lot of, it feels like it's got an eager shuffle, like it can't wait to get started. So I've been enjoying it. So we'll give it a few more, and then we'll see what's going on. But this is, I kind of get obsessed when I get a new deck, and sometimes, and that's kind of happened with this one, so this is kind of the one that I'm reaching for most often right now. So we'll go ahead and cut the deck, and we'll just do something to release, something to embrace, and a message, maybe a message from the universe or something. What's going on? So something to release, we have the Eight of Pentacles. Something to embrace, we have our Queen of Pentacles. And then overall message, we have our Knight of Wands here. Ooh. So maybe we can think about, you know, if our Eight of Pentacles is often about work and toil and labor, maybe thinking about ways we can embrace feelings of abundance without you know, feeling like you have to toil so much. We'll also, this is when we'll just kind of, it's a very short guidebook, but we'll just go ahead and see what she offers for the cards we drew. So you can kind of take a look here. So for our Eight of Pentacles, we have apprentice, talent, skill, money earned through skill, possible new employment, practical ideas, hard work, building a new career, and learning. So maybe it's letting go of the idea that you're unskilled, that you're at the start of something, and kind of embracing your own, rather, you know, embracing that you have learned and you are, you know, you have mastered skills. So our Queen, we have fertility, practical, responsible, rich, helpful, generous, good fortune, enjoys the good things in life, and material gain. All right, and then lastly, our overall message is the Knight of Wands. And for the for a lot of the majors, she has a lot of her own kind of idiosyncratic associations with different deities for each of the cards, which is actually quite interesting. So you can kind of take it or leave it, but I thought that was fun. But if we look for our knight here, confidence, purpose, creative energy, adventure, generous, warm, unpredictable, humorous, long journeys. Yeah, so kind of that is what this spread might look like. I hope you have enjoyed this flip through, and I will leave it there. Bye for now, guys.